Hey everybody, welcome to Beyond the Barricade. I'm your host Papa Dank, and we got a very special guest today. We got the one, the only, Mr. PoppinTwist, baby. What's up, baby?
I'm doing good, Papa Dank. How are you?
Great, I'm doing great. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. Crazy day at work, but other than that, we're doing all right. I'm talking to you, so I'm ending my day on a good note.
That's great. Let's first plug away the next VPW show, because that's where
Yes.
we'll both be at this Saturday in our new location in Bay Shore.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing a new place. I don't know how it's going to be.
You excited? Any new balloons you're going to be showcasing?
I haven't planned that far out yet. Let's see. I mean, the good news is over the last couple of months, I've gotten most of the people done, the balloons done for the VPW guys who wanted a balloon made of them. I got Dante Drago done
Right.
the last show, and he was like, it's a bucket list, man. I got a bucket list, and I need to have a popping list balloon. So I was like, dude, I got you. You call bucket list, I have to do it. But
have to do it.
yeah, but I will. I always get inspiration when I get there. I never know what's going to show up. I don't know how busy I'm going to be. We don't know what the crowd's going to be like. So I kind of leave it a little open ended to see what happens. But I'm sure I'll do something fun.
All right, awesome. Now that we plugged VPW, this is the second live Beyond the Barricade. So you are our second guest for the live edition.
I'll
So
take it.
thank you for being on. And
Thank you for having me.
let's start off with the secret origin of Mr. PoppinTwist. How did it all begin for you,
the
Mr.
se-
PoppinTwist?
the secret origin of Mr. PoppinTwist.
That's right. I'm going to keep it very comic bookish.
That's fine. I wore the comic book version of me today too.
I know. That's what I'm looking at.
No, I mean, there's two. I guess there's two origins of Mr. PoppinTwist. There's the origin of the guy who started twisting balloons with his kid, and then the guy who got involved in wrestling. There's
Okay.
it's a two-part story.
Let's start
Um,
with part one.
Part one is the easy one. I was at a birthday party. My son was 4 years old,
Uh huh.
and they had a balloon artist at the birthday party, and the balloon artist was making balloons for all these kids, and my son just sat there and watched him for an hour and a half and didn't move. And I'm like, you kept my 4 year old still for an hour and a half. You're a wizard or some
Right.
sort of like genie or something. So I happened to be working in TV back then. I found myself unemployed. I knew I knew I was going to get unemployed because it was 2008, 2009 when the economy took a big dive, and a lot of people on TV were taking a hit. So I knew I was coming up on staying home for a while, and I found myself in the mall, and I got a little bag of balloons, and I had a little pump and a little piece of cardboard, how to make a dog, how to make a sword, how to make a flower,
Mhm.
and my son and I sat down on a weekend and just built balloons from that little piece of cardboard, and we had a great time. Fast forward about 3, 4 months, and I'm at a magic shop that was local to me, and they had a balloon class every month. And I said, "Well, how old do you have to be to take the balloon class?" And he goes, "Oh, well, how old is your son?" I said, "About 4.5." He goes, "Yeah, that's okay."
Oh, that's
So
cool.
at the time, my son was the youngest guy he ever taught, the youngest kid he ever taught balloons to. Um, and it was just very organic from there. We took a class, and then we took another class about 3 months later, and then we just play with balloons, and then I'd have balloons. My son and I would be home together. We'd make a couch full of balloons, and then I'd have a couch full of balloons. My
So,
wife would come home, and she'd be like, "Can you please get these balloons out of my house because I don't want them on my couch?" So I'd take them to people's other houses and
so,
just go. That
so your son can do what you can do as well.
My no, my son chose not to go that route.
Okay.
He can make swords, and he make the basic stuff. He helps me out a lot when I
Right.
do a convention or I do a wrestling show or a library. If I need a lot of people who are gonna if a balloon pops, he can fix it for him, that kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah, no, he chose to go a different way. He hangs out with Mr. Poppin Twist. He calls himself Dippy Poppin Twist or Poppin Twist Junior. Um, but yeah, he's not in it as much, but he certainly helps the old man out whenever I need him to. But yeah, so I twisted balloons for a while. I was doing balloons for birthday parties for my friends and family when they would just they'd buy a bag of balloons, and I'd make balloon animals for them. I go, "Hey guys, whatever I can do, you get a balloon artist for free, so you get what you pay for. Good luck."
Right.
And so I did that, and that turned into me posting my balloons on Facebook. and a person, Diane Peterson, who some wrestling fans might know on Long Island. She was a photographer. We lost her about a year and a half ago. She's the ring announcer Ryan Peterson's mother.
Right.
She
Who's a good friend?
Yeah, I've known him.
Yeah.
I've known him for years, and
Yeah. He's a
she
great
booked
person.
me.
Awesome.
Oh, he's great,
Awesome.
and she booked me for my first gig as Mr. Poppintwist because she needed an entertainer for a benefit she was hosting, and I was able to come and do it. So but I didn't have a name. I was still Derek. I didn't have a Poppintwist name at that point. So
Right.
I texted all my theatrical friends and said, on a Friday night, I booked the gig. On Saturday, I got my name, and on Sunday, I used it for the first time. And I've been Mr. PoppinTwist ever since. I pushed it,
Nice.
yeah. So that's the secret origin of
The
Mr. PoppinTwist.
secret origin of Mr. PoppinTwist.
The
Hold on,
performer.
we got some comments in here. Hold on.
Oh,
First
yeah?
from Mr. Ryan Dust, who's also part of my team as the Denk Squad and
Oh, yeah.
my engineer on my live show right now. How many balloons can Mr. PoppinTwist twist if Mr. PoppinTwist can twist balloons?
Wait, in a row or at one time?
Let's stick with the row. In the row.
Well, I mean, as far as like, I set my personal record a couple of months ago. I twisted line twisting, which means a line of people that never ends, and I twisted for a straight 8 hours and didn't stop.
Ooh.
So so I consider that a record. It's a personal best for me. I went from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and
Wow.
I didn't stop. I didn't stop once. Yeah, I couldn't move my hands afterwards, but I didn't stop. So I can say I marathoned that one. So
You need to get a hand massage.
not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. We got another comment here. This is from my sometimes co-host Brandon Denker. Heard that Twisty Jr. is a big fan of me. Ouch.
Well, he's a fan of mine, and he's bigger than you.
You made him tap.
I don't know.
You made him tap. Remember, you made him tap out.
If nothing else, I had that going for me, right?
100%. You made him tap. Speaking of tapping, you were as we continue your story. I guess we'll get to it later. Keep going with your story. So you got your name.
Okay,
Mr.
yeah.
PoppinTwist.
Right. So I become Mr. PoppinTwist, and my first year of doing balloons, I did one party, and then I did another party, and it was a party on a block party for a friend of mine, and there was a person at the party who I made a balloon for their kid. And 6 months later, they called me to do a birthday party for their daughter, and she happened to be a Girl Scout. And before the year was out, I did every one of those Girl Scouts parties who was at that party, and that got me started. I was big in West Babylon for about a year, but and the one thing I can say about my luck in balloons is that I am a working party entertainer. That's the bread and butter. The wrestling thing is the passion and the fun and the fantasy aspect of what I do. But yeah, I am a professional entertainer. So the cool thing is that most of the stuff I book, and I book about 40 some weekends a year, and most of that is going to be from referrals from somebody who either used me before or has a friend who used me, and they refer me, and I'm thrilled to be able to do it. But the wrestling part, that's a simple story.
Okay.
I started doing balloons because I was running camera for FTW Wrestling about 10 years ago. I was running ringside camera for them, and Len Oddity came up to me and knew I did balloons and said, "Would you do some balloons for my table? I'll sell them and give you a cut."
Okay.
I said, "Sure. What do you want?" He's like, "Just do Len Oddity balloons, whatever you can come up with." So I came up with some, simple stuff and cheesy stuff because I was still really relatively new back then.
Right.
And but I started making wrestlers after that who were working the FTW shows. So I was doing guys, and meeting guys and networking and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm making a couple different guys, and I go to a benefit at my wife's work. And I was there to escort Mick Foley around, hold a sign with his name on it, and give him pens for autographs and all that kind of stuff. and I'm talking backstage with him,
Uh-huh.
and one of the VPs at the organization, and she's asking me about my balloons, and he goes, "Oh, you twist balloons?" I go, "Sure, I twist balloons, and I made some guys you might know," and I'm showing him some of the wrestlers that I've made, and he was like, "Here, would you want to work for me?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, I do my comedy shops, and I got a big line, so would you come and entertain the line while I'm signing autographs and doing pictures?" And I'm like,
Right.
"Yeah, I mean, I'd be fine with that." So we made the arrangements, and I came in and I did audience warm up. I walked around the audience before the show started, did that, and then when the show was over, just did balloons for the line. I did that for 6 of his shows over the span of 2 years.
Okay.
But Mick is why I
Uh-huh.
have this shirt, that's the end of the origin story of Mr.PoppinTwist.
So,
I have this shirt because Mick Foley bought me my first one of these shirts. And if you know
wow.
Mick Foley is known for being a little bit tight with his money on purpose. The man wants to save for a rainy day.
Right. Who doesn't know Mick Foley?
Right, but Mick bought me
I
my
think
first. Yeah,
Mick transcends wrestling.
I
He's
think
a
he does.
best-selling author. He's got his own comedy show. He's got his own
Yeah,
podcast now.
he does. I love his
So,
podcast. It's a lot of fun. And he does stuff for WWE. He's still on television. So I mean,
absolutely.
he's definitely a big name in that regard. And so I tell people I have two angels in the world of balloons and wrestling, and
Right.
one is Len Oddity, and one is Mick Foley. And so Mick bought me my first shirt, and I've worn it ever since. He branded me that day, and
Uh-huh.
it said I use it in my advertising. I use it in my other character. Like I walk into a room, and this is what you got.
That is so awesome that he did that for you. That's awesome.
Oh, it was
That's
great.
awesome. You got
Yeah.
another question here, Mr. Poppin Twist.
What's up?
Jonathan Pendle says, Mr. Poppin Twist, why is Papa Dank so fat?
Well,
LOL. Wow.
he's
That's
not
kind of
fat.
mean.
No, he's been losing weight. He makes me look. When we first met, we were about the same weight, and now he's getting thin, and he makes me look fatter by the day. So I got my work cut out for me. He's looking good.
Today's not my day, Mr. Poppin Twist. Someone else was making comments about my gym selfies.
Who?
Mr. Mr. Silky Smooth on a different podcast they was on earlier. And my question is, why does he keep looking at it if he's so not into it?
Yeah, that is interesting. Like, maybe he wants to lose weight too, and he's going to use you as inspiration for that.
Maybe. I mean, I'm glad I can inspire Silky to do something. Maybe we could change his wardrobe and get him a better suit. Maybe he should rock some Gucci bands or something,
Hi, I mean
Mr. Silky.
that jacket. I mean, the jacket's got a lot of style. I mean, the jacket walks into a room 5 minutes before he does.
Uh-oh. Here's another one. Brandon. I think Silky has a crush on me. On you, Papa Dank.
I mean, you're a handsome man, sir. Anything could happen.
I mean, he might. I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, it's just what happens. What happens? All right. So tell me, after you did that, did you start doing other promotions?
Yeah, I mean, I've worked a lot of different promotions on Long Island.
Okay.
I did.
Let's run through some of your most memorable moments in
Okay.
some of the promotions. So,
Okay. So there was a promotion that ran for a while called FWE. It was Family Wrestling Entertainment, and their whole goal was to be a family friendly wrestling company. They had a lot of the indie names in there, and at the time, Brian Myers was working with them. A few other people were working with them, and one guy who was working with them, who was their Triborough champion, was Paul London. So
okay.
Paul London, I made him he was the current tri-state Triborough champion. So I made a version of the Triborough title belt out of balloons, and then there's a picture that I have of him wearing my title belt of balloons and me wearing his actual FWE Triborough. So that was so FWE. I've done some SWA shows, FTW when they ran out of Long Island. Now they run in Queens. I don't get to Queens very often, so I don't do a lot of the FTW shows in Queens.
Right.
Um, I worked for Creative Pro for a while. I
And that's
still
where I
pop in
met
there
you.
whenever I can.
I met you at
Yes,
Creator Pro. I don't know if you remember.
I do remember. Yeah, you and Lenny are why I started doing BPW shows.
I remember the first moment. I think it was at the Shook Crew Fair where I first met you.
That was the first time.
I think that was the first time I actually met you, and I took
That
that
was a
picture
good
with you.
show. Yeah, that was the Fun
Yeah,
Fair was a good show.
yeah.
I was happy a part of the thing I remember most about that show was how thrilled Bobby Orlando was to have a real goat.
I know, right? I saw him over there with the goat, playing with the goat.
He was
Oh
like
man.
he was literally a 5-year-old kid. He was
Oh,
the
he
happiest
was.
guy in the world. I gotta go. I gotta
I gotta
go. There's a goat
go.
here.
Bobby's
But
one of the
yeah.
best in the industry.
Oh, he's awesome. He's awesome. He knows how to entertain a crowd. That's you said that
So
you can
talented.
oh for sure.
So talented. Him and
Yeah,
Bryce.
I've made balloons of both of them multiple times,
Right.
and I've
Tell
made
me about
multiple goat balloons.
some of your experiences at Comic Con, because I know you've done some Comic Cons before, and
I've
why
done
you weren't at this year's Comic Con.
Oh gosh. Well, all right. Well, I've been going to New York Comic Con. Sorry, I'm in this dusty room. I'm gonna sneeze. It's coming.
It's okay.
There it is. I knew it was coming. So,
Gesundheit.
thank you. Um, I was at New York Comic Con my first time back in 2008. So it predates Mr. PoppinTwist by about 3 years.
Okay.
But I just went because my friend was going. He was like, "You gotta go to." He had gone to like the first one. He wasn't around that long when I started going. It was probably only 2 or 3 years old at that time.
Right.
And they were still shifting around, meaning that like one year they'd have it in February, 1 year it'd be in May, 1 year it would be in October. Like they didn't have a set date. So I did my first show in 2008, and I loved it. And it was smaller then. I mean, they were when I went in 2008, they were still only on the main floor of the Javits Center and didn't even use the whole floor. That's
Oh,
how
wow.
long ago I started going. And now
Wow.
they fill the whole floor. They go to the annex. They go to the
Oh,
upstairs, downstairs.
crazy.
They
You,
go inside of the
you,
buildings inside. They do all over the place.
you could hardly walk in there.
Yeah, that's why I honestly, I stopped going for that reason. But I was going for a couple of years, and then when my son got old enough to go, I took him for a couple of years, and then but that was where Pop and Twist. Like I started doing local shows. I started doing Eternal Con. I started doing Winter Con. A couple other like Li Who and the different niche sci-fi and Comic Con shows on Long Island.
Right.
So and my goal is still to do. Like I've done Big Apple. I've done Big Apple Comic Con like 3 or 4 times. But my goal is
Uh-huh.
to actually have a place at New York Comic Con. Like I've taken Pop and Twist to New York Comic Con for friends. Like a friend of mine has a booth. I'll go and twist at
Right.
their booth for an hour or two. They give me a
Okay.
pass for the day. Everybody wins.
Right.
But I've never been able to go and just do like the full Pop and Twist at at New York Comic Con.
The full
That's
experience.
yeah, that's my goal. But yeah, I haven't. The last time I went was 2017 was the last time I went to New York Comic Con. I was helping out my friend Mike Kingston. He runs Headlock. It's a wrestling themed comic book. It's really fun. It's really cool. It's the idea of it. Why I take to it is it's the same kind of thing. Like his character, Alex Hartman, is a guy who was in college and he was a theater major, acted all the time, and fell in love with wrestling and said, well, yeah, wrestling is just acting intensified. So he goes and tries to delve into the acting world, and it's his experiences the wrestling world. It's his experiences learning how to wrestle and all the things you don't realize that exist, but it's just on television. And
Right.
he's got this great comic book, and he always brings in wrestlers every time. So the last
Oh,
time I
nice.
was there, 2017, I was there, and I met Sting, and I made a balloon version of Sting
Ooh.
at that show. So that was a big deal for me.
That is a big deal. Where can you get headlocked?
You can go. He has a website, headlock.com. He also does a lot of shows all around the country. So you can always go to check out Comic Cons. Check if you follow him on Facebook, Headlock. And he does a lot of different things. He tries to meld comics and wrestling in a lot of different. He has different comic books. One called Tales from the Road, where it's actual stories from wrestlers that are illustrated inside the book. He has a lot of different guys who do that. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, he's a great guy, and he works really, really hard. So I'm glad to help him out wherever I can. So
Awesome. So you've done balloons for Sting.
Oh yeah.
Who else have we seen in balloon form?
So wrestlers I've done out of balloons that I've actually met versus wrestlers that I've made balloons up, right? Because that's two different categories.
Let's start with the ones you've met.
Yeah, it's a shorter list because I tell people I have what's called the PoppinTwist Club. It's a little play on words to the Bullet Club.
I like that. I like that.
But the PoppinTwist
I'm in
Club,
there.
Yeah, you're in the PoppinTwist Club.
There was a Papa Dank balloon. Yes.
That's right. The PoppinTwist Club is anyone who's involved in wrestling who gets who I make a balloon of is in the PoppinTwist Club. So yeah, you're in the PoppinTwist Club.
I'm in the club.
That's over 200 members and counting. I've done that many balloons of pro wrestling. The number of balloons I've done for wrestlers is a little smaller. I've done a lot of balloons for Mick. I've done every face of Foley.
Right.
I've done a balloon for Bully Ray, a balloon for Goldust, a balloon for Hurricane. I've done a balloon for Greg the Hammer Valentine. I did a balloon for Roddy Piper. You have to give it to him, which was amazing. Yes, I did, Nathan. I did win the 23-6 title. I'm the only guy to win by submission, and that's the truth.
Brandon's got a rebuttal. Yes, Nathan, he is that guy.
I am that guy.
I got a comment from Jonathan again. We first saw PoppinTwist at Frankie's East Side Gourmet.
Yes, I used to work. I did some things for
Dan Romano.
For Dan Romano,
who's now an actor.
Yeah, he closed the pizza place, unfortunately. He made a good pizza. I was but yeah, I did a couple things with Frankie's. I made balloons of Rage countless times. Rage is one of my better friends in the wrestling business. So I've made everything from a Rage this big to a Rage that was bigger than Rage himself.
Nice.
But so I've done balloons of Rage. I did balloons of from over. I did. Okay, so
since you brought up Rage real quick,
have
you done one for Chaos?
I have made so I have not made an official Chaos balloon. I actually made a balloon of Chris before she became Chaos. So I owe her an actual Chaos balloon, which I will do. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I will certainly do it.
Rage, if you're watching, it's coming.
Oh, it's coming. He knows. But yeah, so I've done. I forgot. I forgot his name. Sandow, Damian Sandow.
Oh, Sandow.
I made a balloon of Damian Sandow. I made a balloon of Bob Backlund. I made a balloon of Billy Gunn. I've made these are ones I've made for the
Mr. Scissor Ass himself.
So I've made all those balloons for actual wrestlers. I made a balloon for China. I haven't mentioned that. I made a balloon for China.
No, we cannot watch him lose the title. You'll have to go back to blog interaction for that.
Yeah, it exists. You can watch it.
No, Brandon, it's not a great idea.
I mean, here's the thing, and this is not. I'm not talking trash or anything like that. But it is the truth, and it's the same thing that's been said about Ric Flair and a few other guys. Is that to be a 16-time champion, you have to lose 15 times.
Yeah. So who knows? You might win it again.
Right. So it's possible. I mean, Johnny Collins has it now, right?
Yes, Johnny Collins is the champion.
It would make me so happy. It would make me so happy to tap him out. That would I would be thrilled to do that. Oh my God.
Johnny, you hear that, Johnny? I don't know if you're watching, but PoppinTwist is coming for you. So is a bunch of people, I heard.
That would be one of the happiest days in America, right there. I can say that.
Speaking of Johnny, have you made a balloon for him?
Yes, I did. I made a balloon of Johnny Collins. I did it to make fun of him, but I made a balloon of Johnny Collins. I said I made a life-size balloon of Johnny Collins, and it was this big. And
no pun intended.
Right,
No fun
but yeah, no,
intended.
no.
Pop and twist. List it once. Brandon lost it 3 times. Lost it. Yes.
Lost it, yeah.
Yes.
Right. So so he can say, so where's your 20? I,
You,
you
you're
got,
injured.
yeah. Good luck with that. You can
Good
come
luck
back
with
stronger than ever
it.
with a bionic knee. You'll be fine.
All right, let's get back to balloons you've made
No,
for in
yes, it is.
person reasons.
So that is, I think that, I mean, there's other ones that like I've done. I said I did a Paul London. I've done Kurt Hawkins and a Brian Myers balloon. I've done a Matt Cardona and a Zach. Well, I've never done an official Matt Cardona balloon, but I have done a Zack Ryder balloon.
Deathmatch King.
Yeah. I've done. I mean, if you count BPW guys, it's a laundry list of BPW talent. I've made VSK, Mr. Tibbs, the Shook Crew. Every member of the Shook Crew. I've made the Big Doofa, the Hoofa, and I've made
Hoofa.
Hoofa. I made
Love that guy.
I've made I Philip Cardigan, and I've made Dante Drago and Kip Stevens, and I mean and Eric James. I have pretty much run the gamut of the biggest names in BPW. I've pretty much made a balloon for each one of them.
Sir Eric James, yes.
So
great talent. What about non-wrestling balloons that you met at events?
As far as like celebrities talent. Or
yes.
Oh my God! I mean, I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of really cool people I grew up watching when I was a kid through a variety of conventions, and I've got a chance. I made a full-size Captain Marvel Shazam balloon for Boston. The guy who played him on television in the '70s. I've made a variety of Power Rangers for the actors. I've made a Power Ranger Zeo, and I've made I've made most of my. I made a lot of Zeo, Mighty Morphin. I actually completed last year. I completed my Mighty Morphin set as much as I possibly can because Trini, unfortunately, she passed away. But from the original Mighty Morphin cast, I have made a balloon and given it to them in person. Everybody in the cast. So even counting Zordon,
wow.
I've covered. I've
covered it all.
Except and I made a Yellow Ranger balloon for Karen Ashley, who was the second Yellow Ranger. So it's still Mighty Morphin. So I didn't cover all my bases. So I've done that. I made a balloon of Flash Gordon for Flash Gordon himself. I mean that's
cool.
So much fun for me. I made a balloon of Captain America for Red Brown, who played him in the '70s when I was a kid. I used to love those two movies.
Wow, yeah.
Watch them all the time.
Yeah. Me too.
I made I've made a couple of Walking Dead characters for actors from that show. I made Eddie Munster just this past summer. I made Eddie Munster for Butch Patrick.
Wow.
That's so things the 13-year-old kid in me geeks out every time I do something like this because I'm like, if I would have told my 13-year-old self what I'm doing now and who I'm meeting and who I'm having fun with and what I'm my 13-year-old self would think I was full of it.
My 13-year-old self would be the same. Never would I. In my imagination, would I think I'd be doing stuff like this and meeting the people that I'm meeting?
Absolutely,
that's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, so I've made a lot of balloons for people. Obviously, I prefer to make balloons for the actual person because what's the best part of that is the reaction.
Right.
I don't care how famous. I don't care how famous a person is. I don't care how old they are, how young they are, or whatever. If a balloon brings out the joy in almost everybody, and so I'm just happy to be able to have the opportunity to do that. And so I like to be part of that joy, that smile, that fun. That gives it back for me.
We were able to capture that moment for Dirty Dango at my last vlog interaction.
Yeah,
which was awesome. Such a nice guy. So awesome.
He was very nice.
So awesome. Glad he was on Impact the other day.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, good for him. But yeah, he was so excited. And what about some exciting stories that you've had with families where you made balloons for them and they were overjoyed? You know what I'm saying?
Well, this is one I think.
Here we go. Here we go. Where's my balloon?
So,
with or without the title?
See, Brandon. Okay. I owe you a balloon. I will make a Brandon balloon for you. Mr. PoppinTwist will not. So
Whoa.
I gotta figure that out, because we said before in this fun world that we created, I'm just happy to play in your guys' sandbox. I'm thrilled to play in this. It doesn't matter where. I've been a performer since I was in the third grade.
And let
So
me tell you,
you know,
that sandbox is not over.
I,
Because we're
I,
going to do
I,
many more things together, my friend.
I'm happy to be. I'm happy to play the sandbox. Um, but yeah, no. So that's why there's this weird like it's not kayfabe necessarily, but it's like Mr. PoppinTwist. Yeah,
He is
um,
the sandbox,
he is a
Brandon
sandbox.
Denker,
Like Mr.
my co-host
PoppinTwist
and
is
son.
is almost an alter ego for me, to the point where I where I go with him is not where I am. Derek is this guy, and Mr. PoppinTwist is
This is
Derek on
someone
11.
else. Right.
So but I come from a performing background, so I love to play, and I like to go and improv, and I like to go and do all that kind of stuff. So like I got Mr. PoppinTwist is a character in a card game that I play that I love to play called Super Show, and I'm a playable character inside Super Show. So then
Nice.
I have to go and cut promos
Uh-huh.
against people as Mr. PoppinTwist. I may like the guy outside of the game, but
Right.
inside the game, I have to talk trash about him because he's the jerk.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's that whole part of things. It's not it's reality. It's reality light.
Crank.
It's not true reality.
It's cranked up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
But yeah. So the story, I get booked. Okay, so I'm at a birthday party, and while I'm at the party, this guy asks me for a Shawn Michaels balloon. He's a big
Okay.
Shawn Michaels fan.
The Heartbreak Kid.
Yeah, so I said, it was the guy who brought me to the party. He was my boss for the 2 hours I was there. You get
Right.
what you want when you book me for your party, and it's your party, and you're my boss for that 2 hours. So you get what you want.
You exactly.
So I got done with all the kids, and I took care of a couple more things, and then I made him a Shawn Michaels balloon. So I think it was his wife's sister's cousin, some sort of family member who was at the party. I get a contact. She goes, I want you to come and do my husband's surprise 30th birthday party. I said, okay, fine, no problem. She goes, it's wrestling themed, so can you make a couple of wrestlers for the party? I'm like, sure. Who do you want? She's like Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Undertaker. No problem. So I made three 2 foot tall versions of one of each one of those guys.
Right.
And then I get to the party, and I was booked for 2 hours. I ended up being there for 4 hours, and all I did was make wrestlers for 4 hours. Jeff Hardy, Andre the Giant,
Uh-huh.
AJ Styles, Captain Albano. Like I did, people were just all these crazy things were flying out.
Nice.
I have worked one party where all I did was strictly wrestlers for 4 hours.
Now, do you catalog each balloon you make? Like, do you have a record of them?
I have a record of my wrestlers.
Okay.
Because what
I
I
mean,
was doing.
There's no Eddie Munster record?
Well, I have pictures, but no, like because I keep a running tab on the wrestlers, because I like to have that running tab for the PoppinTwist Club. Because
Right.
there was a time when the number was 50, and now it's up over 200. So I like to just and then if someone asks me, like, you ever make so and so, I'll go, yes, I have, and I have every photo of almost every wrestler I've ever made on my phone, so I can post it and send it any point in time. It's at my fingertips.
Mr. Ryan does. Mr. PoppinTwist has better shirts than Brandon.
I have 4 shirts now. 4.
That's awesome. And where can we get those shirts, sir?
At Pro Wrestling Tees.
That's
Pro Wrestling
right.
Tees / Mr. PoppinTwist.
Twist.
I have 4 shirts. I have the Guardian of Whimsy, which is the comic book version of myself. It's also the coloring book cover. I have my lucha mask shirt my friend wanted to make. I have my traditional logo shirt, the logo tee that I've had for 4 years now, and I have the retro with the catchphrase on it because when you have a catchphrase like that, you want to have people say it out loud. That's my goal.
That's right.
My professional goal is I want to do I want to do a compilation where a bunch of wrestlers just say one part of the whole thing. And I edit it all together.
Uh-huh.
That would be like a big deal for me. That'd be a lot of fun. To have because I have my thing that I post because I got nominated for Best of Long Island again this year. I
Did
mean,
not know.
I'm gonna lose, but it's okay. I always get nominated, but I always lose.
Hey, you know what they say? It's good to be nominated.
It's an honor to be nominated. It is.
Yes.
I mean, I have said this, and it's 100% the truth. I do not nominate myself for Best of Long Island, but I do vote for myself once that happens. I'm not gonna lie. So if I get nominated, that's awesome. I never expect it's gonna happen, but if I get nominated, I will vote for myself every day, like you're supposed to do. But since I've been nominated, this is my 4th year, and each year I've been nominated. I'm nominated in the same category as somebody else, and that somebody else always beats me. It's never failed. I have been beaten by in best for Long Island personality by the same guy, and I've been beaten every year that I've been nominated, and I've been beaten in children's entertainer, party entertainer, party and event entertainment company by the same Princess Party company every year for 3 years. So you got to stop that.
My merch prototypes always get rejected for being too mature. Brandon.
It pays to be family friendly, Brandon.
Oh, Brandon. Big fan, Papa Dink. Fan of who, Nathan? Me or Mr.PoppinTwist?
You're a fan. Who's not a fan of you? We're all fans of you.
Not silky smooth, apparently. Apparently, I got some invoices that are coming my way. I don't know. They should pay me to be on because I had to sit with them. And Gangone busted my table. Him and Percy, who keeps losing to Desmond Cole. Oh wait, did I say that?
Yeah, I think you did say that. I did say that. I'll present something because obviously it's probably not going to happen, and if it happens, you heard it here first. Mm-hmm. I have been talking with the management of BPW in behind the scenes. Uh-huh. I want to put together a stable of wrestlers and feud with Silky Smooth.
Nice. Oh, okay. Nathan's a fan of me. Thank you, Nathan. Appreciate it.
I mean, it's not up to me, and I'm not a wrestler, but neither is Silky. So I think we're going to be okay in that regard.
I think you could definitely take him.
So no,
you made Brandon Denker tap out, so you make Silky tap out.
But
and while you're at it, tell him to get a new shirt.
There you go, get a new shirt. Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun. Like I said, that's like my goal. That's like I love going to wrestling shows and doing what I do, and twisting balloons and having a good time. But
I see you have a good time when I'm at the show. I see.
I always have a good time. But I'm a performer first. I've been a performer for a very long time, and my mind goes to that. My whole world is how do I take the balloons and my acting and my performance and smash it together and make one thing out of it. So when I go to a wrestling show and I know I've got 25 years of theatrical experience, most of that is improv, and I have a lot of wrestling based experience. There's no reason why I can't. It's on video. And I've got
Brandon, give it up.
I got the still shot blown up, and it's on my wall in my bedroom. No, but I would love to take what I do and just and make Mr.PoppinTwist into something in the wrestling world that would be fun. I'm not getting any younger. I'm not I'm not ever debating trying to go to wrestling school. That ship has sailed. So how can I have fun? How can I bring an extra level of enjoyment and excitement to a wrestling crowd? And do something and have fun at the same time. To me, it's a no-brainer. But I have to convince the people who have these companies that it's a no-brainer. That's the hard part.
How's that working for you so far?
It's not working at all. I'll take.
That GM over there is tough at VPW.
No, yeah, it's you know, I pitch a lot of things, you know, but as you know, as the old adage says, as the Wayne Gretzky adage says, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So I take a lot of shots.
Hey, what about Cap? What about Cap? Have you pitched it to Cap?
I have pitched to Cap in the past. I'd love to do something with them, but you know their method and their mission is different, and it makes a lot of sense. Their whole idea is they are a school first, so they want to get their talent up and running, so their talent can go and move on and do other things, and then that keeps the reputation of Cap going because they go, oh well, you were trained here and you do good work, and here's this litany of guys who come out of Creative Pro. So I get it. I get that their focus has to be on their homegrown talent because that's what they are selling after the fact. They're selling their ability to have homegrown talent. Right. So yeah, I haven't worked over there in a little while, but I'd like to work there again. But it's they got a lot of irons in the fire over there. With Myers and Cardona doing their thing with the podcast and the whole major wrestling empire. I mean,
right.
You got to give them a lot of credit. Yeah, you got to give them a lot of credit.
Yeah, definitely, they're doing great things.
So yeah,
all Long Island grown.
That's right. That's right. I'm a transplant. I'm not from here originally, so I gotta work my way out that way.
Where are you from?
I'm from lots of places. I was born in Delaware. I lived in Delaware for about 8 years, and then I moved to Pennsylvania with my family. And then I moved around Pennsylvania a lot. I went to college like an hour away from where I went to high school, and then I moved to Long Island because I met a girl there. The good news is the girl I met there got married, so I followed her and got married. But yeah, so I'm from lots of different places, but
good. I would like to thank her for bringing you into my life.
Well,
thank you, Mrs. PoppinTwist. Can Mrs. PoppinTwist do balloons?
No, and that's by complete design. She has no interest in whatsoever in doing it. And she actually said that we make the joke. It's funny. She says to me all the time, "I would never book you for a party."
Really?
But it's because she's pragmatic. My wife is very pragmatic. So to her, I am the ultimate extra. So she's like, "Look, we don't need that. We can have a cake and we can have this and it's okay. And you don't need it, So she's like, you're an expense I don't need to worry about." And I go, "That's fine. I'm thankful what people on Long Island do want to worry about that, and I'll just go work their parties instead."
Right. That's awesome. Hey man, surviving in a marriage that long, gotta give you a lot of credit, sir.
It'll be 21 years in December.
Wow. God bless you guys.
Oh, thank you. I'm lucky. I'm lucky she stuck around so long. I'm not easy to get along with.
Yeah. You are. You're very, very, very awesome. Very nice.
Oh,
so
thank you. Derek is nice. PoppinTwist is on 11. It's a whole different story.
Well, Derek, thank you for being my friend.
Well, thank you for being my friend.
Appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you.
All right, so let's wrap it up. I think we're in 45-minute mark.
How long do you want to go? 2 hours?
I gotta take my gym selfie for Silky.
Oh, there you go.
I want him to wake up bright and early with. I love you, Silky baby. Woo!
I used to have arms. I don't have arms anymore.
I'm trying, man. It's not easy, man. Going to the gym 5-6 days a week while you're working 40-something hours, 45+ hours a week is not easy. And trying to raise 2 children.
Yeah. And we're not getting any younger. That's the hardest part.
We're not. It's so hard. I just turned 50 this year.
I'm right behind you. Behind you. I just turned 48 this year.
People can't believe it. They're like, "You're 50?"
Yeah, no, I would have thought we were. I would have thought we were the same age, but I thought I had you by like a year or something. Yeah, I thought I was older.
I'm old. I'm old this time. Oh, we got another comment here. I hate Mr. PoppinTwist.
Oh, we know.
Hate's a strong word, though.
But Brandon, I like you. Not Mr. Poppins. He can't stand you, but I like you.
See, Derek likes you, Brandon, not Mr. PoppinTwist. Do we have any more comments coming up? We're gonna be wrapping this up real soon. Mr. PoppinTwist, where are you going next besides VPW? What you got lined up?
Well, I'll be at VPW this Saturday. Then I'll be at East Meadow Public Library on Sunday. I'll be at Middle Country Public Library on all these Long Island libraries on the 19th. Another library later on. I'm posting all my stuff for the month. And then my next big event that I'll be at is I'll be at Li Who Meglos, which is the Doctor Who convention on Long Island. Huge guest list, and I'm planning on making a full-size Fifth Doctor to match my set of other Doctors from the last show I did. So, but yeah, so if you're a Doctor Who fan, there is no better show in Long Island for Doctor Who fans. It is phenomenal. So awesome. I'll be there in November, and yeah, so I'm keeping my schedule a little bit thin and a little bit loose because, as you can see, we're doing house repair and home improvement.
I see.
So we're in the middle of about 4 different projects. So if I take too much time leaving on the weekends, my wife will divorce me, literally, because.
You know what? I'm having such a great time with you. Let's extend it a little bit longer. What are you watching? What are you watching on TV nowadays?
What am I watching? I don't watch we're watching all the Marvel stuff. I watch all the Marvel stuff with my family.
Did you see Werewolf by Night?
Not yet. We're saving that for Halloween, I think.
So good.
I hear it's really good.
It was really good.
But yeah, I watched all the Marvel stuff, all the shows on Disney Plus. There's a CBS show, a comedy called Ghosts. It's a transfer over from England. There's a British show they made now in America, and it's very funny. It's a half-hour sitcom. It's a lot of fun. I like that one. My daughter and I started watching Quantum Leap together. The Quantum
reboot?
Leap. Yeah. Well, it's a continuation. It's not a reboot, which is a very important distinction. Yeah, because it actually references all the characters from the original show, and they're actually if you remember, did you watch the original show?
No, I did not.
No, okay. I was a big fan.
You can talk about it.
Well, I was a big fan of the original show, and there was one episode where there was a character that Sam Beckett, who was the hero, left into, and the character he left into was actually a character in the current show. So it's like they're really bringing it around as much as they can. There's a lot of references. The characters have daughters who are in the show and things of that nature. So I mean, I'm hoping they get a good run out of it. I mean, it's not the same. It's never going to be the same. The show was what it was. It was from 30 years ago. So now it's got a more current bend to it. But they just extended the episode orders for 6 more episodes. So I think they're going to give it a whole season, which would be great. But yeah, so that's what I'm watching.
Awesome. No Game of Thrones?
No, it's funny. It's funny. When Game of Thrones first came out, my friends were like, "You got to watch Game of Thrones," and I'm watching the promos for it, and like, there's all these actors in it, like Mark Addy and Sean Bean. I'm seeing them in the trailer. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll watch the show. I watched the first season, and all the characters I liked were killed. Spoiler alert. So I'm like, and there wasn't anybody the story didn't grab me as much as I hoped it was going to. So I'm like, you know what? If you're gonna kill all the characters I like, I'm not gonna watch your show. So I stopped. I felt the same way about Walking Dead. I watched the first season of Walking Dead, and I loved the first season because it was right out of the comic book. It was perfectly played out, like the comic book was played out. Mostly. They had a couple of changes here and there, but as a whole, that first season was great. And then the second season was so far of a departure from the comic book. And then by season 3, they're killing characters that are still alive in the comic book. I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm not gonna watch it.
Oh man, I'm watching House of Dragon.
I'm sure you're loving it.
I'm loving it. It's so good.
Yeah, if you love Game of Thrones, you're loving that. It makes perfect sense.
So good. There's people who haven't watched it yet, but I always advocate it because it's a great show.
Yeah. No.
All right. Movies. Let's talk movies real quick. Any good movies?
I mean, what lately that I've seen lately? Yes. I don't know. It's fun. Oh, here. This is one. This is not. It's not a current movie, but I've been on this kick of classic football movies.
Uh huh.
Because I have, and I'm trying to make a list not just for myself, just like a go-to list of like my favorite like funny football comedies. So
Right.
like Necessary Roughness and The Replacements, and movies like that. I like Invincible. With Mark Wahlberg. Because I was actually living outside of Philadelphia in that time when that was all going on. Now
Right.
I was very small, but the whole thing is was there, and I enjoyed that. But yeah, I'll tell you, but a current movie that I enjoyed, my whole family enjoyed. Did you see on Netflix Day Shift?
I did not.
Okay, it's a Jamie Foxx vampire hunting buddy comedy,
I did
action
not see
comedy.
it, but I want to
It
see it.
You should go see that. It was so much fun. It's 90 minutes of just nonstop fun. There's nothing
Oh,
wrong with that
nice.
movie.
Awesome. I gotta watch it.
Yeah,
I'm excited about Halloween coming up this
oh
week.
yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Halloween Kills.
Halloween is it ends? Isn't it Halloween
No, I'm
ends?
sorry. You're right. Ends. Halloween ends
Yeah, it's supposed to be her last one,
this Thursday.
but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still a Halloween 3 Seasons of the Witch fan, but no one else.
Oh, terrible, terrible,
No, it's good. It's got Tom Atkins
terrible.
in it. It's awesome. But
You gonna
no,
go see Wakanda?
oh yeah. We don't miss a Marvel movie in my house.
Okay.
My son has seen Avengers probably 30 times. Probably even more than that at this point. It's one of his favorite movies that exists. So we don't miss a Marvel movie. And and there's a lot of we're interested to see what they do with Wakanda Forever, to see how they take the Black Panther mythos one step further, because obviously they had to change things up.
Right.
But yeah, so we saw Thor: Love and Thunder in the theater. Like, we try to see it in the theater. I like to,
Yeah, me too.
yeah. But we saw Thor: Love and Thunder. I don't know. I don't know if you're ever going to see another Thor movie after that one. I think they may have, but they have. The good thing about it is they have a way. They have a way around, because if you that movie from start to finish is actually a story being told by Korg. So they have ways around that.
It's true. I liked it though. You didn't
Oh,
like
I
it?
did. No, I liked it. My biggest problem with it, honestly, was just they let Russell Crowe and his Zeus bit go on way too long.
Oh yeah, I didn't like that either.
Because I'm fine with with the Thor and their relationship and the whole story arc, and her getting her finality, finale in the universe. I thought that was
Right.
great. I loved all that stuff, and I love humor, and I love the comedy aspect of it. But Russell Crowe hit that screen. It just full stopped me for about 15 minutes. He just went on way too long.
Yeah, he did.
But I
He
guess the
did.
issue is, if you get Russell Crowe in your movie, you let him do what he wants to do. I don't know.
I guess so.
But
Next up for Marvel, the She-Hulk episode's coming out. It's supposed
yeah,
to be a big episode.
I'm one episode. We're one episode behind right now. So the one where they debuted, rumor has it has Daredevil in it, which I've seen the memes and stuff already. I haven't seen that episode yet.
It was
I hear,
really great.
I hear it's
So
a great
good.
one. I hear it's a great one. So that one. So
So good.
we're one behind right now, because we have in my house, we have what's called show hole. Now, show hole is when you binge watch a show and then you have nothing else to watch. My wife is a binge watcher. My daughter is a binge watcher. So they will watch these things, and then they will get the show hole, and now they got to find something else to watch. Well, then all of a sudden, it's been like big. So like right now, so we have Quantum Leap, we have Survivor, we have Amazing Race, we still have She-Hulk. We have my wife and I watched Ghost. And then she's got Walking Dead. My wife has Walking Dead, which came back. My daughter finished Stranger Things, so now she's watching anime stuff, and The Good Place. She like binged the entire Good Place over the summer. So like so so
Oh boy.
like so like so like she got to show home, but now it's like the opposite. Now we have literally 7 shows on right now that we have to wait to watch every week. Nothing's bingeable.
Right.
And you got school, and you got work, and you got so the
Absolutely.
time is not as easy to find it. But yeah, no, we have enough shows to last us for a little while. Doctor Who, the last Doctor Who of the season comes out in 2 weeks.
Right.
So it's supposed to be the big episode for there. So if you're a Doctor Who fan, you don't miss that. So yeah, we got stuff. All of our shows are on the horizon for sure.
Cool. Awesome.
I still watch old stuff. I go back and watch old shows.
We're getting Guardians of the Galaxy special in December.
Yeah. That should be great.
That should be awesome. And it's supposed to lead to the new film next summer.
That would make a lot of sense.
So I'm excited about that.
And James Gunn has said he's done. James Gunn has said after Guardians 3, he's done.
He's done. Yeah, he's gonna focus on DC. From what I'm hearing.
I mean, why not? Why wouldn't he? They showed he made more money for DC with one movie than DC made in 5.
Did you see Peacemaker?
I did. I thought it was fantastic.
Oh, fantastic.
I mean,
fantastic.
John Cena shows, the guy, look, now, like, John Cena's not going to do Shakespeare.
Right.
But
Shakespeare with John Cena is not going to happen.
Right. But he nails the Peacemaker role. He does it very well, and it works. It
does work.
And he showed emotion. He showed emotion too. People think, oh, he's all very wooden, but he showed emotion. But it's like my wife and my kids. They're starting to not sour. That's too harsh a word. But they're starting to tire of Dwayne Johnson's acting career because they'd like for him to actually act once in a while and not keep playing Dwayne Johnson.
He just said he might be the head of the table.
I mean, you know what? Good for him. But it's like even your big action heroes from the 80s that we grew up on, even your Schwarzeneggers and your Stallones, they had to at least have some character development. They weren't always playing the exact same hero. They were playing a hero with this difference or that difference. They were not always the same hero. Right. The problem with Dwayne Johnson's career, and because he's working it because it works for him, but every movie he's in, almost, he's playing Dwayne Johnson. He's not giving you a different character. Like Jungle Cruise was. I have thoroughly enjoyed Jungle Cruise because he was a little different in that. Did you see Jungle Cruise on Disney Plus?
I did not.
It was an action adventure movie, and he played a different character for him, and it was actually like he was a little bit darker and a little bit like rough around the edges, and I liked that a little bit more because I got to see him do something. Right. It's not just him strapping on some guns or going in and kicking some butt.
I hear you. Mr. PoppinTwist, thank you for being on my second live edition show.
Thank you for having me.
What? Thank you, Mr. PoppinTwist, for being on. As I said, thank you to the viewers who are watching, all the great comments that were put in here. We'll be back live soon. I'm lining up some guests as we speak.
We hope to see you guys at VPW
We hope to see you guys at VPW. I was going to get to that. I'm trying to make myself globally known, so I'm trying to get people outside.
You should.
Of the United States, which I'm working on. And I want to shout out to some of my friends in the industry who are also helping guide me and on these live editions. The Dudes at Ringside Podcast, they've been helpful with that. Ryan Dust has been very helpful, so I want to thank them. Thank the viewers again, because without the viewers, we'd have nothing here. And, of course, the great Mr. PoppinTwist, I'm going to say it, my vest friend. See how I use that? See how I use that?
Yeah. The Vestler.
The Vestler.
Jack Thomason. But I have been trying to get on the Dudes at Ringside podcast, and I keep missing my opportunity. So you got me again before them. I'm still yours first.
They want you. They want you, Mr. PoppinTwist. They tell me, we want PoppinTwist. We want PoppinTwist.
It's hard to get
look,
together.
Scarecrow. We got Scarecrow on. What's up, Scarecrow, buddy? How you doing? Scarecrow? Hope all is well, buddy. Hope all is well. Thank you, Mr. PoppinTwist. Live second edition. Can't wait for more. I'll see you at VPW this Saturday in Bay Shore. After that, we don't know what's going to happen. But we know one thing. There'll be more Mr. PoppinTwist coming your way. That's right. Thank you for being on, sir. Thank you, audience. Sir. You guys have a great night. Finish watching AEW if you didn't watch AEW. And stay tuned.